Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about Stripe payments and actually recruitment payments in the form of subscriptions. So like every video streaming or audio streaming service out there, it's doing right now, and a lot of websites. There's a lot of applications as well that are using this as well. So currently, you can actually do this in the FlutterFlow using a Revenue Cat. But for me personally, Revenue Cat it's a very complex one, and it's tied with Android and iOS. So we're actually going to hack this process. To be honest, I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if this is legal and if iOS will actually like this approach. But to be honest, like I said again, it's I think this approach is used by Netflix, and I think Netflix when you are on your device, they will ask you to go inside their website and not create a new subscription from your phone. And the reason for that is that there are a lot of taxes, especially I think in iOS. They get the cut, I think it's 20% or maybe more, I'm not sure. But yeah, today we're going to talk about that. I'm actually going to use my own app. It's in Bulgarian, but you probably get the idea. And the whole idea is that this is about the app that I'm going to use. Like I said, it's my own app. I'm actually a huge fan of Newcastle United, and I am a fan and a member of the Newcastle United fan club in Bulgaria. So this app will actually allow you to pay the members the early, not the early, but the yearly membership. So each year you can pay the membership, and right now it's actually using the standard Stripe payment, which is one-time payment, and then users or fans have to actually pay again next year. But this approach is not great, right? Because you can actually forget the date, or you have to do it manually each year, which is annoying, to be honest. So that's why I want to change that, and I want to actually integrate Stripe recruiting payments or subscription based payments. So that's the video for. So I hope you like it. So hello from my phone right now. For some reason, my phone actually didn't record a voice. So I'm actually recording the voice on top of the video. Just to let you know, this is the app. It's in Bulgarian. You can see the logo at the beginning, and then you have a button, which is in the black button. It says "Become a member." When you click on this button, it's open up a form, which you can fill the city. For example, in my case, I'm just filling Sofia, which is the capital of Bulgaria. I'm filling a fake phone number, and then I'm filling a fake birth date. That just we need those data for all our members of the fan club. And then the last thing is actually a check mark. You don't see it actually very good here. I don't know why, but the last thing is actually a check mark, and you can actually see when I'm checking it, it's going from 30 level to 15 level. And 30 level, it's around €15. And depends if you are a senior or a child or a student, in your price it's half the actual price. So that's when I'm checking this checkbox is actually going from half price to the actual price for an adult, which is 30 level. So the first button that you see, pay 30 level, is the old button, and the second one that I just click, it's the new button, and it will go to the uh, recurrent payment. I'm using Brave, the browser, in my phone, but this is the page. So in this page is a Stripe. This is the Stripe page is a test mode, and you can actually see that this is the subscription for 30 level, which I said it's 15, approximately €15 per year. So and the credit card that we're going to use, it's 42424242, and then the date is 1133, and the secret number is 123. And my name, I will put the card is Dimitar. Then you can choose the land, which in my case is Sweden, Sverige, på svenska. And then we have, do you want to save the data? In my case, I'm not saving the data. And the last button that I'm going to click is subscribe, which is the blue button. When I click this button, it will actually use the dynamic link, and I will go back to my page, and it should say, congratulations, you're subscribed to the fan club of Newcastle, Bulgaria. So that's the whole idea. And now I'm clicking the button. Now it's getting the payment. Now the payment it's done. It's going to the green button, and then it's going to the dynamic link, and it's opening my page. So that's working great right now. And you can actually see the actual page. And the actual page, it says, congratulations for beating Newcastle United football fan of Bulgaria, and thanks for paying. And you have two options. The first option is to see your digital card. So now I click the first option, and this is the your digital card. And it says we have the logo of the fan club, and it says your name. And here you can actually see the year. It's 2223 that you're being a fan of. And we have a little bit information about the fan club and why it's good to be a member of the fan club. And then the last part is actually you have the QR code, which is actually you can actually scan it, and this acts like your digital card, so you can actually scan. So let's go back to the FlutterFlow and actually show you how it can be done. Okay, so after the demo, let's go back to the FlutterFlow project. And the first thing that you have to do is actually having two pages, which they should not be connected to any of your project or your app. And the reason for that is that the users should not have access to those pages. The one pages is when the payment is successful, and the other pages is when the payment is failed or canceled. And the reason for that is that the whole logic is that when the payment is successful and the user visit this page, it will actually make the current user a subscribed user to your platform. So that's why you don't want to have links to those two pages, because if you have a link and someone click on that link, it will actually go to that page and it will be a subscribed member. And this page, like I said, will be only available to open using a dynamic link, and that's why it's safe to have this page, because no one should actually know your route, and there is actually no way using mobile to actually enter a page from your app knowing the route, even if you know the route. At least I don't know how you can do it. If you know how you can do it, let me know, but I don't think there is a way to do it, as this is very security risky and unfriendly. Okay, so like I said, first things first, create those two pages. And like I said, the first pages will be when the payment is successful, and the second page will be when the payment is failed. And then when you're ready with those two pages, I just made them real simple pages. But you can do, of course, you can use the UI wherever you want to. I'm always saying that my UI is not great, so that's why I did it so simple. And then the other thing that you have to do is actually use this code. And I think I made it as friendly as possible to be reusable for your apps. And the whole idea is that this will actually create the dynamic link, which will actually be used for your successful pages. For your successful payment. So when a payment is successful, it will actually use this dynamic link to go back to your page. It will actually open your successful payment page. This is the whole idea. So let me show you how this works. If I go to test function, you have 4 parameters over here. And so you don't have to change. In theory, you should not change anything in this code right now. Um, this code should actually work out of the box. Like I said, you should not change anything on this code. So how this code is actually working, like I said, this code will create your dynamic link. If I run it, you should able to see the dynamic link created like this. And then how it, like I said, how this code is working. So first of all, we have 4 parameters. The first parameter is the dynamic link. So how do you get the dynamic link? The dynamic link, you can actually get it from your dynamic link when you go to your uh, Firebase. So if I switch to my Firebase right now, you can actually see this is the dynamic link that you want to use. In my case, this is the dynamic link that you're using. Before we actually continue, I will actually really recommend you, if you haven't watched already this video, which is FlutterFlow, how to manually construct a dynamic link. This is the video that I'm talking about. I'm going in depth. How do you actually create your dynamic link, and how you can actually what are all the parameters and everything that you need to know about dynamic links in general. So, like I said, if you haven't watched this video, please first watch it, and then you can continue with this custom function. And then you can get the dynamic link from Firebase, like I showed you, and this is my dynamic link. And then we need the package name. So the package name should be actually in your settings. So if I go to settings, this is my package name. So just you need the package name, because for every project and for every app, of course, the package name will be different. So that's why I did it as a parameter. So you can enter the package name over here. So I made a test, and this is the package name of my project, of my app. And then we need the deep link. So the deep link is actually the page that we want the users to go when they visit this dynamic link. And the deep link is actually where I get that is actually when I go back to the page, and this is the routing. So this is the page that I want to go to. So this is, you can copy and paste it, and you can copy it actually and paste it over here when it says deep link. And then we have the parameters. So the parameters is very important, that we have the name of the parameter, and then we have the equal sign, and then we have the value of the parameter, and then we have, if we have more than one parameter, make sure that we have n%, and then we have the end sign, maybe not percent, but we have the end sign, and then we have another parameter, in my case, name. I don't need the name, but I just put it like that so you guys see what I mean. And then I have, in my case, I have an integer here, and then here I have a string, which is like a demo name, which is demo. This is the name. And you can actually have spaces as well. If you need spaces, you can actually have spaces. That's okay, because this will be converted, this will be encoded, and the string will be encoded. So it's okay to have spaces as well. So if I go back, the parameters are very important, and those are the parameters that we're going to use. So those are the page parameters, and the page parameters, it's very important that they should be the same name. So in my case, it's ID, and then the name lower cases, ID integer, and name string. And if I go back to the custom function, you can actually see that I have the ID lower cases and name lower cases. So I have the ID equals 106 and percent and sign, sorry, and then I have the name equals to and then I have demo dash f, and I have, like I said, I can have spaces here. And the whole idea is that if I pass this to my dynamic link, and if I open it, this will actually be passed here and the page parameters, and it will be actually be written as 106 and demo. Uh, and then what I'm going to do after that. So after that, we are going. So when this page is visited, uh, this means that the payment is successful. So let's first talk about how you can actually create uh, the payment for itself. So first of all, we are using Stripe API. So you can define an API group. I called my API group Stripe API, and then for the base name, this is the base URI, which is api.stripe.com slash v1 for the time of recording this video. Probably in the future it can be v2 or something like that. But you can actually check this inside. You can actually check this in the documents of the Stripe documents. If you go to the Stripe documents, you can actually write in Google or wherever searching you're using Stripe API, and then you can write create a payment link, and it should end up over here. So the whole idea is that you actually have your key. In my case, is a test key, and then you have the price, uh, the ID of the price, and then you have the quantity. In my case, is a subscription item, so I don't need the quantity over here because it will subscribe only for one quantity of the item. But of course, you can change it. This can be changeable. Okay, so this is like I said. If you need any more parameters than the one that I'm using, this is where you can get the data from. And then let's go back to FlutterFlow and let's click. I have only one API call defined, which is create payment link, and the API endpoint is checkout slash sessions. And if I go back to here, you can probably see, you should be able to see that this is the endpoint. I don't see it right now right here, but if I click it in curly, you can see. So this is the endpoint that I need checkout, and then slash, and then sessions. And then for the headers, we need one header, which is authorization, and then basic, and then we need the token. So the token we actually can get from our Stripe. So if we go to our Stripe dashboard, right now I'm running in test mode. So you can actually run as test mode as well to test this first. Of course, it's recommended. And then enable the test mode, go click on developers, which is next to the test mode, and then click on API keys, and then click review API key, and then to be the API key will be revealed. I will not show you right now. To be revealed, it would look like that, and then you can actually click to copy it, and it will be the same thing here as the public key. And then we can go back to the key, and we can have the key as variable. So you can go to variables, and in my case, I name it token, but it's not token, it's actually key. And I can actually change this to key as well and save it. So the key, you can paste it over here. So you can paste the key over here because I think like 99% of the time, the key will be a static one, so it will be not changeable unless you lose the key or something like that. In my case, I'm using the test key right now, but in the future, I will use my production key. So I will just change this value to the default value to the production key, and it should actually work as expected. You can actually, of course, test it, and we will do that just in a second. So okay, so we have like 5 parameters over here. So we have the successful URL, which we don't have a default value. This will be the dynamic link that we are going to send to the users when they successfully paid. We have the cancel link, which is again a dynamic link, but in this case, we're actually going to send to another page, which it says, "Oh, should you something wrong, something happened with the payment, you cancel your payment, do you want to continue, do you want to pay, do you want to try again, or you want to go back to the main to the main to the main app?" So this is what I'm talking about. Like I said, this is Bulgarian, but this is the first button. When you click it, it will actually go back and try to pay. It will actually use the same dynamic link and try to pay to make the payment again, or you can go back to your app. And then let's go back to the API key again, uh, to the API code, sorry, and then we are here. So the price ID, what about the price ID? So the price ID, let me show you how you can do it in Stripe. So if I go back to Stripe and if I go to products, so I should go back to products and I can actually click on add product. So when I add a product, you can actually use any name that you want to. Let's say premium subscription, doesn't really matter. And then just use any uh, awesome sub. And then you can use any of the additional options wherever you want to. And then for the pricing, it's very important to be recurring, sorry, and not one-time payment. One-time payment, we have that already in FlutterFlow. So you can, if you want to have one-time payment, you can actually use FlutterFlow and not default FlutterFlow like out of the box and not this method. This method will be only used for recurring payments. So in here, you have the price. In my case, it's in Bulgarian leva, but of course, you can change to dollars, euros, wherever you want to. And then you can have like, in my case, I have two prices actually. Like I said, one price uh, is for the uh, students, for example, and one price is for adults. So in my case, I have like 30 leva, which is approximately 15 euro, like I said. And you can have more currency here. So you can add more currency. You can do a lot of things in Stripe. But the most important part is first set the price. And the second is, do you want to be monthly? Do you want to be daily, weekly, monthly, every 3 months, every 6 months, every yearly, or custom one? In my case, it's yearly, but in your case, it probably can be something else. And when you're done, you can actually save the product. I'm not saving this product right now because I already have a setup a product, which is this product right here. So when you have a product setup, you can actually add more prices. So in my case, like I said, I have two prices, but you can actually have as many prices as you want. So you can add a new price. Like I said, make sure it's recurring, and then you can add the new price. In my case, I have two prices, like I said, 30 level for year subscription and 15 level for year subscription. And then we need to copy the ID of the price. And then let's go back to our FlutterFlow, and this will be the ID of the price. So that's why we have this parameter price ID, and that's why this parameter is actually, we need to fill this parameter because this is the test mode. But in theory, we should we should enable the production mode, we should disable the test mode, and we can actually do the same thing, but in production. And then make sure, don't forget to change the key to the production key when you're ready, and the price ID to the production price ID as well. Because if you're using the test mode, it will work for the test mode again, but when you're ready for production, you need to change those values for production. And then the last thing is the mode. The mode, we have the subscription, and we have, I think the other mode was, let me actually see over here. If I go to the doc, we should be able to see the mode over here. I think the search bar, I don't like this search bar. Uh, it's searching in the whole document, but I'm actually looking for the parameters. Yeah, I can't find the mode right now. What was the other mode name? I think it was payment. I'm pretty sure it was payment. If you have payment, it would be actually one-time payment, and subscription, of course, will be subscription paid, recurrent payment. So in my case, I'm using the recurrent one, so that's why I have the subscription, and that's why I put it in default value, because I don't think I will change that. But if you want to change that, you're free to do so. Okay, and then those are all the parameters, and let's go to the body. So the body is actually the type of the body is X www form URL encoding. Those are the parameters. You can actually pause and write that down, because it's actually I would try to actually write it in the description so you can copy and paste that. But this is how you set it up. So the first one is the default one. It's cart, and then the price. It's coming from the price ID. The quantity, in my case, is only one, but in your case, it can be from variable. It can be changeable. In my case, like I said, it's only one. And then we have a success URA, and the success URA is coming from successful URA, and the cancel URA is coming from the variable cancel URA. Those are dynamic every time, so that's why we are set that those right like that. And then we have the mode, which is coming from variable, and it is mode. So that's everything that you need to know about the API call. And now it is actually time to test it. So first of all, um, we have the successful URL, which in my case is dynamic link, and I'm just using a simple dynamic link. You can use whatever you want to just for the test. And then we have the cancel URI, which is example again. Again, you can use anything that you want to. And then the price ID, it's my price ID coming from my price ID from the dashboard, which is over here. For example, this is my default price ID. And then the mode is a subscription. Is actually hard coded, so it's the default value, so I don't need it. So if I test this, you should be able to see the ID of the session, and it should, in my case, it's saying test because I'm using the test mode, of course. And then the important part right now is this URL. I cannot, for some reason, I cannot copy it. But this is the URL that we are actually going to use to send users to this page, so the users can actually go to this page and then pay their subscription. And then let's go back to the form that I'm using. I'm actually using a form. Of course, you don't need to do it this way, but I'm doing it this way. And I'm using API calls, but you can use it in Firebase as well. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. What do you prefer? But in my case, I'm using a form, like I said, because I need some data to the user. So I need the city, I need the phone, and I need the birth date of the user in order to know which person is which. Because if I have only the name and the email, I just need a little bit more information about the member. So that's why I have this form. And the whole idea is that I'm actually storing this data in a document. So if you're thinking of Firebase is actually creating a new document, and when I'm creating new document, I will have something like active, like membership. So the you can imagine this will be a collection of memberships, and I'll have something like active membership. I'll have a field which is called active membership. It will be a boolean for true or false, or it could be an integer, 1 or 0. It doesn't really matter, wherever you prefer, wherever it's best for you, wherever works for you. But in my case, I'm using API call. I'm sending this data to my backend, and I'm sending the name of the person, which I already know because of the app. And then I have the email of the person that I know already, and I have the phone, the city, the birth. Those three I already know from the form that they just filled up, and then I have the discount, and the discount is true or false depending on the person is a child, is a senior, or a student. So if they check this checkbox, that means that they're one of those three. So if they are one of those three, they have a discount, a 50% discount of the price of the subscription. Okay, so when I create this, I have an answer, or I have like a action output variable. And my action output variable in my case is sub with lower cases. And the second thing that I'm doing is actually sending API code to the Stripe API, to Stripe servers. And then I have three variables here. So the one that I'm sending, I just show you, is create payment link, and I have the successful URI. So the successful URI, it's actually, I don't know why it's not showing over here, but it is actually working. And if I click confirm, I think you can see it. Yes, exactly. So if I click over here, you can actually see that I'm using the custom function. So the custom function that we begin with, that if you haven't watched at the beginning or the beginning of the explanation, I just explained how how the create dynamic link or the custom function works. And here we actually need, so bear with me and you just get it. We need a couple of parameters, like I said. And like I showed you, we need 4 parameters. So the first parameter is the dynamic link, which is actually coming from the app state. I'm using the app state. I'm not writing this here hard coded, because I'm actually, if I want to change this in the future for some reason, I just will change it in one place. And that's good for, it's called abstraction, I think, and that's good for coding purposes as well, to just have the variables in one place, and when you change them in one place, and don't change them like in a 5 place or something like that. So I'm using the dynamic links as app, so for for API, sorry, for app state, and then I'm using the package name as app state as well. I'll just show you that in a bit. And then I'm using the uh, successful payment, which is the route to my page. And let me show you those three things. So first of all, let me show you the app state. So this is my app state, and if I go to the bottom of it, you can actually see that I have the dynamic link, which is this dynamic link, which I already showed you. You can get it from Firebase. I have the package name, which you can get it from settings here. And then the final thing that you can actually add, because we're here, you can actually add the payment link. And this, the payment link, we're actually going to use this payment link if the for some reason the user actually say it canceled the payment. We have this payment link saved in our app state, so we can actually redirect the user again to the same page if they decided to actually pay. And then let's go back to the routing, so I can actually show you again. This is the page and this is the routing. So you can copy this. This is the in my case is successful payment, and you can actually go back to the setup. So the setup, like I said, is from my subscription. This is the second button. The first button, like I said, it's a normal button, and we're using the second button right now, which will be the new subscription method. And then if I go back to the successful URI, this is coming from the app state, like I show you. This is coming from the app state, like I show you, and this is coming from the routing, the route name of your page. And the last thing that we have is actually the actual parameters. So this is very important because the actual parameters in my case is the parameters of the page, like we told about, like I showed you. And in my case, I have two parameters, the ID with lower cases and the name with lower cases. And the ID, I'm using a combined text. And here I have the ID equals to, and then I have the ID. And this ID is actually coming from the action output. So the first action output, this is coming the ID from. So in your case, you can actually use the reference of it, or you can use the UID. If you're using Firebase, you can use the UID. But the whole idea is that you have to pass this in order to know which document you have to update when the payment is successful. That's what I'm doing over here. I'm just passing the ID of the user that I just created that wants to subscribe, and then I'm passing this, the ID of the just created document in my backend, and then I'm passing also the name. Like I said, I don't need a name, but I'm just passing it in order to actually, for this tutorial, to see how you can do that. Okay, so it's very important, like I said, to have the same names as parameters, lower cases. It should be the same name. Don't mix it up with the names of this one and the parameters of your page, or else it will not work. And then we also need to have, when we have parameter, this will be the key of the parameter. Then we have the equal sign, and then we have the actual value. Then we have, if we have more than one parameter, we should begin with the and symbol, and then the other parameter, and then equal. So this is very important. Make sure you do it like that. Make sure to test your function as well. And then the cancel URI is actually the same thing. It's 100% the same thing, the same dynamic link, the same package name. The only difference is about the cancel payment. So this is another page that we're going to go to the route of our app, which is the cancel page. And the parameters, we actually don't need parameters because we are not using parameters, but that doesn't really matter. If we pass parameters, they'll be just ignored, so don't worry about it. And then the last thing is actually the price ID. So the price ID I have a little bit, it's a little bit different because I have the checkbox. So if the checkbox is checked, I will use uh, I will use this price ID, which is the 50% discount. But if it's not checked by the user, I'll use this, which is the 100% one. In my case, the user is actually deciding if he or she is a student or a senior or child. In theory, you should probably do it like more efficiently, but in my case, it doesn't really matter. We trust our users to say that to just check the true thing. So yeah, so that's why I'm having two prices over here. Like I said, the first price will be 50% discount, and the second price will be the full price. Okay, so this is everything that we set up, and the most important thing is at the end as well, it's having the action output variable name, which will be the payment link. So this will actually give us the payment link that we're going to use to send the user to. And when it is successful, the first thing that we're going to use is to update the app state, create a payment link, which will be a simple string data type, set the value, and the link will be JSON, the JSON path, and then dot, and then URL. So this is very important. This will be the path to your link. I will save this in the app state, and then I will use that when it's canceled to go to the same link. I'll show you in a bit. And then the most important thing is the final action, which is launch URL, and we get it from variable, and we use the same variable. So it's the action, the output of the action, the second, which is this one. This is the second action where we're creating and we're using Stripe. And then it is the JSON body, the JSON path custom, and then we're using $sign dot URL. So we're sending this, we're sending it over here. Okay, great. And then when the payment is successful, it will actually use this dynamic link to send the user over to this page. So when the user is sent to this page, we're actually going to use the parameters that we just passed. And we are going to use in the scaffold, which is on page load. When you go to the page load, I have only one action, which is again using my backend. And my backend, I'm telling to activate subscription. And which subscription I'm going to activate is actually the ID of the subscription, or in your case it could be the UID of the document. So you can use the document reference. It's up to you how you want to do it, but this is how I did it, and you can actually update it from here. You can have you can have like a new you can have an action, and you can have Firebase update document, and you can use the parameter to update the document. You need to pass, of course, a document reference. So you have to have in your page parameters document reference. So this is what I'm passing. And when I pass this, and when a user visits this page and I pass this, I know that this user is subscribed, because there is no way to actually know the dynamic link. So don't share this dynamic link with anyone, because it's actually security risky, because if someone visit this page using the dynamic link, it's like someone just paid to your app. So this is the page, and then I have a simple navigation here. Just remember to when you're navigating from this page to another page of your apps, just remember to not allow the back button navigation, because you don't actually need the people to actually go back to this page. This page should be only showed once, and that's it. So make sure about that. And here it's showing the virtual car, and here it's going back to the menu. And the other page that I don't have any parameters here. Like I said, I'm passing parameters, but I don't passing them over here, so that doesn't really matter. They're just ignored. And then this is the routing. Uh, in my case, it's a failed um, payment. And there was actually, thank you for notice that this should be actually be failed payment and not cancel payment. It should be failed payment. So thank you for noticing that. And then let's go back to the failed payment. So this is the failed payment. There is some, I don't know why I cannot change the name of the scaffold. If I change it like that, it was not, okay. Now it's worked great. So we have this failed payment. I can actually do it with a couple later like that. Yeah, great. And then I have the fail payment, and the routing is the fail payment. Great. And then I have again, I have the button to actually try again. So this is a very important button, because the button says try again. And if you click this button, it will actually launch the URA from variable, and the variable we're getting it is the app state. So we're getting it from the app state. So now when we're creating it, if you remember, we put the payment link to the app state, and this is where we are using it again. So if the person wants to try to pay again, just click on this button, it will be sent to the same page. And then here, this is to go to the main menu, and again, don't allow the back button navigation. Okay, so that was it. Before we go, I actually want to thank you. All the code will be available in my GitHub page that I created, and you can actually get the code from here, and you can actually copy the code as well. And I actually added Discord channel, so you can actually uh, join my Discord channel if you think that this is something that you want to do. I will try to be active there. And the reason I created this Discord channel is that there are people actually asking me to do that, so that's why I did it. And so yeah, I hope that this will be providing you a good place to actually talk about the videos that I create and to give you to give my paid um, paid people who are actually using my mentoring session to actually have a place where they can join and where they can be and have a different private channel so you can support them better. And of course, all people are free there. It's a free Discord server. So yeah, thank you very much again and have a nice day. I hope this was helpful tutorial. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.